Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of LVAD Talks. I have another member of the LVAD Nation with us today. I am sitting here with Nicole Clement. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am awesome. It's about to be, I guess, full blown summer now.
Hmm.
I can finally put away the hoodies.
Yep.
I got shorts on. I'm happy.
I know it's going to be 95 today in California, or where I'm at in
Ooh.
California.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
only got about 80, but I'll take it.
I'll, I'll take the 82.
So let's talk about your story.
All
How
right.
did you find out that you had heart failure?
Well, long story short, I had cardiac arrest and I woke up in another hospital. But starting from the beginning, I don't really know when it came on. I went to urgent care in the middle of December, and she basically said, "You have bronchitis. Here's prednisone and albuterol, and take that, and you'll feel better, within a couple weeks or whatever." And then I had actually gotten an X-ray done where they showed that I had an enlarged heart. When
Okay.
I was there, she had said, "You need to go to a cardiologist when you get a chance. Like, if things escalate, they'll go to the hospital." And then, sure enough, Christmas Day, I looked down and my legs are huge. I felt like I was carrying triplets, and I'm already overweight, but I knew that this was not normal.
Mhm.
Um, and so Christmas night, I went to the hospital and they admitted me. They knew exactly like that I had a heart problem. I didn't know this at the time. I didn't really realize because I was just, I want to feel better. So do whatever you need to do
Mhm.
um, to get me to where I need to be. So they admitted me. And then the last thing I remember is I just couldn't breathe. The nurses came in the room and I put an oxygen mask on. And then 10 days later, I woke up at another hospital. They said, "You have heart failure." And then I was, shocked, but I kind of realized, this is, I guess, heart failure.
Mhm.
I have to accept it, whatever. And at that point, I had not heard about the VAD. I mean, any like from Grey's Anatomy, I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it. They never mentioned anything to me at the hospital that I was at. And so they just said, "Okay, go home, lose 80 pounds stronger," because when I was down, I got really weak. And so then I went to rehab. I think I was there maybe 5 days, and then I went back to the hospital with two more episodes of cardiac arrest. So that puts me at four times that I had a PEA arrest. And at that point, they threw me on life support, and I was on life support for about 10 more days. And they took me to another hospital. And then when I woke up, the surgeon basically said, LVAD or die. And I said, "Okay, put it in." So then 2 weeks later, I got it. At that
I
point, I was like,
find
"I can't sit.
we
I
all
don't
at
want to
one
die."
point all at one point we get that choice.
Right. And, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it entailed of. But at that point, I was like, I've already died four times. I don't want to do it again. So just put it in. So 2 weeks later, I had it. And I'm thankful every day for it, as much as it's hard. It's a hard adjustment, but I'm so thankful.
So how long has this been since you've had your LVAD?
February 8th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you knew.
I'm a newbie. I'm a newbie. I'm still getting used to it. I just got a wound back off on Monday. So now it's just me and Frederick. I named him Frederick. And it's so much easier to get around. Like all that stuff just weighs you down because I had two wound backs.
Mhm.
And then the last one finally came off. And now I feel just like I'm carrying a purse basically.
Okay.
So it's a lot better.
Why the name Frederick?
I thought about it in the hospital, and I mean, we know that the VAT is very expensive, so I wanted it to be kind of like a bougie name. And then everyone's like, "Oh, Porsche or Portia," and I'm like, I'm not gonna name my LVAT after Ellen DeGeneres' wife. Like, you're not doing. And then I'm like, what about Fred? Because I went bananas and nuts in the hospital. I was there for 3 months.
Okay.
So I had named one of my heart pillows Wilson because I felt like I was from Castaway,
Okay.
right? Because I'm so far away from home. I hadn't been home in 3 months. I went a little crazy. And then I'm like, what about Fred or Frederick or something? And then that stuck. And then I thought about it a couple of days later, and my dog, when I adopted him, his
Mhm.
name was Fred. So I
Oh,
okay, like he's my heart, so it makes sense that I would subconsciously think of that name.
okay.
I mean, it's kind of weird, but
I named mine Richard Parker.
Richard Parker. Why Richard Parker?
You ever seen the movie The Life of Pi?
No.
I, if you can find it, look it up.
Okay.
It's about a little Indian boy. His family owned a zoo, and something happened. They ran out of money, so they was moving the zoo, and they had to
Okay.
get on a ship to move the zoo. So they're on this big container ship with tigers and giraffes and everything, and it was a storm, and the ship sank. So when he got off the ship, he was in a life raft with him, a monkey, and a tiger.
Okay.
And basically, it's the story about, because I won't tell you the whole story, but
Right.
it's the story about how he survived it because of the tiger.
Okay.
You would think that, in spite of the tiger, but because of the tiger, he survived it. So I named mine Richard Parker because it's keeping me alive.
Heck yeah.
And yeah,
Heck yeah. Are you bridge to transplant?
that's the plan.
Okay.
I'm on the whole you gotta lose weight thing right now.
Right. Same here. Same here.
Yeah, so I am actually in the process of getting gastric sleeve done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, scary, but exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I've made up my mind, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm all for it. So hopefully I get a new heart and a new sexy body.
Heck yeah. We love that.
You're not gonna be able to tell me nothing at the beach.
You just show off your scars. I love it.
Yeah, you got to. You
Yeah.
got to embrace it
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's what makes that's your story.
Right.
You
I know.
know.
I struggled with that. I saw my body for the first time when I had to do my shower training, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Because I mean, right here I have all the central
Hmm.
line scars on my neck, and then I had my wound back on my chest, and just scars from life support, just being jabbed all the time. My arm has scar tissue from all the blood draws and everything.
Hmm.
It's just it was very intense to see because it was never like that. My chest tubes, and it was very hard to go from what I was to now. But my friends are just like trying to remind me if they had them, I would tell them that they were beautiful.
Hmm.
So why can't I tell myself that too? So I'm trying to train myself to just I'm here because of these scars. So
Okay. And since you're new, you're what, 3 months out?
roughly, yeah.
Okay. So what is your biggest adjustment? And
Not
I'm
being able
asking you that because I'm
to,
6 years out, so
okay,
I'm used to it. It's old hat to me now. So I want it
right.
from your perspective since it's so new.
Not being able to shower every day, not being as strong as I was, trying to get my voice back. But that has nothing to do with the VAD. But I was intubated so many times
Hmm.
emergently, so it wasn't as smooth as it should have been. Um, Doctor's appointments all the time not working because I'm a teacher, so being away from my kids is really hard. Um, just everything, I think, really, because I have to finally slow down and recover, and I'm not used to that type of lifestyle. I was a full-time student and a full-time teacher, so everything just stopped.
Yeah. I
And
think with me though, it was a purpose. It was a greater purpose.
right.
You know how they say you got to stop and smell the flowers.
Hmm.
I was just doing so much and trying to take care of so much that I was going through life, but I don't think I was enjoying life.
Yes.
And weirdly to say now, I think I enjoy life more. I take it, because you can't take for granted that, like in your case, you died 4 times.
Hmm.
You know, I'm happy to wake up this morning. So whatever
Yeah.
happens is cool.
Right. Yeah, I would say that my anxiety has really lessened,
Hmm.
which is a very odd thing to say in this kind of a situation. But, take life as it is and, enjoy everything. Like I try to tell people, even if the sun just hits your face, just enjoy it. Like, do
Hmm.
not take for granted that you can walk outside and just feel the sun. Because I didn't feel the sun for 3 months. And then when I finally did, oh my gosh, I cried. It felt so good, and I never realized that
Hmm.
before, living my life and going about the day like, oh, it's hot outside. But it's like now, wow, the sun is shining. I can smell the flowers, like you said, and just wake up every day and take everything the way it is. And I think that that's what's most important. And so, like you said, you enjoy it a lot more.
Yes, you do.
Mhm.
So are you at the point where you can drive yet?
Next week.
Okay.
Yep. I have
It-
to get off of gabapentin, my nerve pain medication, and then wait a couple hours for that to get out of my system. And then I'm going to take driving lessons again in the old high school parking lot to make sure that I'm still good at it, because it's been 5 months now that I haven't been in a car driving. So
Okay.
yeah,
So where's your first place you're going?
I don't even know. I don't know, around the block. Maybe Starbucks. That beats me. But yeah, I'm just trying to make it through summer and figure out how I can get a transplant and go from there.
Are you at the point where you can feel the difference though?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like you don't realize how sick you are until you feel better.
Right.
Like I would say I feel more normal than I did all of last year, because I was very tired. I was still living full time, doing everything, but I was so tired all the time. And I didn't understand or realize like that my heart was failing me, essentially, obviously. But now I'm like, okay, like I think that I have more energy to do things. The things that I have in my head that are planned for the day, I actually get them done because I have the energy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Yeah, I can see how you can say that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your whole your mental situation? Because some patients come out of it with a slight depression.
I think that when I first came home, I was very depressed. I'm not typically like a depressed person in general, but I was very angry because this is a genetic thing for me. Um, so I think I struggled with realizing like I did nothing to myself to cause any of this. Like it just happened because I have that genetic marker. I think it's called the Titan gene. So it came on, and it came on quick. They got him young, but I was very angry that I didn't do anything to cause it myself. Because if you do that, then you can say, okay, well, I knew the consequences of putting this food in my body, or, drinking all this alcohol, or, not working out and everything. And so I struggled really hard with, you know, understanding that this was what was meant to happen to me all along. And I had no idea. You know what I mean?
You said it was genetic. Did you have anybody in your family history that had heart failure?
My dad passed away of a heart attack when he was 42.
Mm.
And at that point, we didn't know that it was, a genetic thing. It could have been anything. But then his two brothers have cardiomyopathy. One is from chemo and one is viral. But they don't have a VAD or anything, and they're totally healthy, just living their day-to-day lives. They didn't have to go through any of this.
Do you think maybe, and because this is a conversation I have with people in the healthcare industry, do you think maybe if we had better education about heart failure, your outcome would have been a little bit different?
100%. I think looking back now, like I said, I had gotten sick. So it could have been like a viral thing on top of a genetic thing. Because, I remember listening to the one podcast that you did with Michael Cruz, and how he had said that he got it. He thought he got it from someone else. We'll come to find out his was genetic as well. He posted yesterday. But he had gotten sick. And I think that that's what happened to me, is I got sick and then my heart couldn't handle it. And so all of last year, I just had a nasty cough. And I think that if I had the education of knowing that that's what it was, then the rapid weight gain that I had, the bloatedness, I got really white and pale. My color came back. And so I noticed that that's when my heart was finally flowing. And I think that if people just realized the little signs that come with heart failure, that my outcome probably would have been different.
Yeah.
I would have went to go see a cardiologist a lot sooner.
So did they introduce you to my friend Lasix?
They did. My kidneys failed.
Ooh.
So I was on that for a while. I was on dialysis for about 2 months, I think.
Yeah, I'm not.
Fun times.
I always said if somebody ever did something to me, I'm gonna drop some Lasix in their drink.
Right.
Now that was a joke, everybody out there. But I was like, that's the worst thing you could do to a person is, especially when they give it to you in the IV. It's like as soon as they squirt it in your arm, you're just gone. Pew!
Right.
And that was one of the weirdest things that really bothered me. I mean, everybody takes different things differently, but the whole diuretic thing was killing me. And even to this day, because from time to time I'm on it like as needed, but when I know I have to take it, it's like I can't do it. I gotta cancel everything for the day. I gotta stay in the house. Don't try to leave. It's a bad time.
So then what happened? What causes you to have to take that? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, weight gain. Like you gotta watch. You're supposed to weigh yourself every day.
Right, I do that.
I'm guilty of sometimes not doing that. And if you notice weight gain of 2 or 3 pounds in a day, a lot of times it's water weight. And you know, when I see mine though, it's usually doing these interviews and I can see it here in my face.
Okay.
It gets puffy. And like other people can see it too. So, you know, that's the whole game we have to play with our water intake with our system and the water going through our VAD, and you know, that's a whole game. And then that and I think my frustration with are you on warfarin?
Yes.
The frustration with warfarin and losing weight is real.
Yeah.
Because the first thing, my go-to thing was when I want to lose weight, it's salads.
Right.
But you got to either do it every day or don't do it at all.
Right.
And I'm trying to make the adjustment where, even still this long out, I haven't made the adjustment where I can eat green stuff every day. And that will make my warfarin levels spike or drop, you know. So that's the hardest part, because like at first it was like, oh, lose weight, yeah, I eat salads. And then you eat salads and you stop, and then you got to make that adjustment.
Right. Yeah, I was very confused because I got my INR done when I think it was 2 weeks ago, and it dropped from 2 to 1.4. And I was thinking, like, I had no vitamin K. I'm very confused. But you or me.
That might be me, because from time to time, my Amazon will take over my interviews. Goodbye. Thank you, Amazon.
Yeah, it went down, and I was super confused because I didn't have any vitamin K. And so I asked the VAD clinic, like, what am I doing wrong? Because I don't want to take, I think the warfarin, I have to take 4 pills to make it to the dose that I need. And I don't want to keep doing that. Like, I want 1 pill. And they just said, you know, when you're losing weight, it could be anything, like your metabolism, you know, your body's changing. So they don't know. They couldn't give me an answer. But
it could be diet. It could be, it's a lot of things that affects it. So, you know, I just left the lab a few hours ago.
Okay.
So that's something with me. I mean, it's different for everybody. But for me, I have to get my lab work done once a week.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so you'll get used to it, and you'll get used to the adjustments. Just your in my circumstance, I find that your INR being too high is better than being too low.
Right.
Because it gets too low, they make you take what's called a Lovenox shot.
Okay.
And I'm still not a fan of giving myself a shot.
No.
It's the whole mental thing. Like, I gotta breathe, I gotta concentrate, gotta do a little meditation. I gotta
put on sound music.
Yeah, right. Maybe it's the whole self-preservation thing with me. I don't know, but I am not a fan of sticking myself. And I've got mild diabetes, so I have to take the pen. That is my least favorite part of my day. So hopefully with the sleeve, that's going to get rid of that too.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can only pray.
Yeah.
But I hope that goes well for you. Is it scheduled?
The way my system works, we have to go through classes.
Okay.
You have to go through 6 months of classes, and I started in January.
Okay.
And I'm at the last of that, and then they're looking around June or July for my surgery date.
That's awesome. That's coming up right around the corner.
Yeah, and I'm feeling a lot better, because at first, you know, there was problems with COVID, and that's considered elective surgery. And I know a lot of people who had to have theirs canceled for like 2 or 3 months. And once I get to this point, I'm like, I'm just go ahead and do it. Don't make me wait any longer. I'm ready.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that story. I don't know if you saw, her name was Jessica. That went around, I think, last week. I don't know if you're on like any LVAD pages on Facebook or anything,
I am.
but my boyfriend and I had seen it, and she had gotten the VAD. She had heart failure, I think, at 15, and then she got her VAD, and she could not lose weight, so she finally got the sleeve, and then she finally got her heart. So I'm praying that that's what happens with you as well.
I appreciate it. Hopefully that's the plan.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
still
tried. I did what I could do. When I started, I was 300 pounds.
okay.
I go in between 240 and 250 now.
Okay.
And yeah, I can't, that's it. It's like, well, no
Yeah.
matter what I do, go
Yeah,
to the
no.
gym, watch what I eat, that's where I'm at.
Hmm.
But I think that's genetic too.
Oh, for sure. So then, was yours genetic or was it viral, bacterial? How did you find out?
I was born with a heart condition.
Okay.
I had my first open heart surgery when I was 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, yeah, but after that, I didn't have a problem until I was 40. So
Okay.
I think it was very successful.
Right. You got lucky.
Yeah. And I was one of those kids that I'm a little bit of a jerk sometimes. So if you tell me that I can't do it, that's going to make me want to do it even more.
Exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. And one of my goals was I wanted to play tuba in college band.
Hmm.
And from the time I said that's what I wanted to do, people say, "Oh, you can't do it. You know, you got a heart condition, you got mild asthma, you can't do it." And that was my fuel right there. So,
Hmm.
but I think doing that and pursuing that helped a lot because in marching band, you know, my body had a lot of exercise. Blowing the instruments was good for my lungs. So I think, in a way, I was putting myself through therapy.
Right.
And I think my downfall was when I finished in college, I still was eating like I was marching hours every day.
Mhm.
And it eventually caught up with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, my brother marches and teaches at a high school in LA. And I mean, I keep telling him, you need to get tested. You need to get tested because you don't know. Eventually, the habits will catch up to you.
Mhm.
I mean, he's pretty healthy as is, but so I thought I was too. So that's the whole education part of it. And I'm trying to figure out what I can do in my community to engage people and help them understand, like, yeah, I'm 26 years old and I'm a female, which is the two rarities, right?
Mhm.
And it can still happen. You just never know. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around trying to figure out what I can do.
So, how is your adjustment living life on batteries?
It's easy for right. I mean, it's gotten easier. Like I said, with the wound vac, it was really hard just because at one point when I came home, I had to carry the batteries and two wound vacs. So that was really difficult. And then it got down to one wound vac. And then now it's just batteries. But I mean, changing them every day, it takes me 2 minutes. So I just get up and do my morning things in my room, and then I'll switch to batteries, and then Frederick and I will leave.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good time. I mean, like we say, we enjoy it, right? We wake up and we're happy to be awake. So especially if you can sleep good, that was something I really struggled with, was figuring out, like, how do I sleep with the cord coming out of me?
Mhm.
I believe it or not, I sleep better on the side that the cord comes out of. I don't understand it, but I do. Sleeping on my left side is a whole different story. I just feel like I'm crushing myself when I do that, which is
Yeah,
super.
I was scared that I'll roll over the wrong way,
Hmm.
but nah, it's not a problem anymore.
Yeah. So I mean, that it's just life now, and hopefully it's temporary for both of us, and we'll get a new heart, and then have to deal with all of that.
Right,
Then you can
right.
come up with a new podcast.
Yeah, I was always my life is full of content. So
You
between
know,
that and the kids and COVID and yeah, it's
yeah.
plenty of content here.
Yeah. And I appreciate it too, because my boyfriend had seen something on Facebook about you, and he was like, oh my gosh, there's a podcast about LVADs, because there's nothing. Like, I mean, I came across Michael Cruz's TikTok, which was awesome, and then LVAD Dad as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nobody else out there that is, doing this education. I think Andrew Jones was on YouTube, but he got a heart transplant, so there's no more VAD content. But there's no education on it. And so when I found your podcast, I was like, wow, this is really awesome. And then I felt compelled to like let you know that this is awesome, because people like me who don't, we're newbies, we don't know, so it was very cool and very inspiring to find you. So I'm very thankful.
Well, I appreciate it, and that's one of the reasons I do it. Because I'm a nerd. I go to the first thing happens, new product, new shoe, new anything. I go right to the internet, and there was such a void there. And the stuff that you do find is a lot of medical stuff that is like jargon and above your head. And I wanted real people to tell their story.
Right.
You're in California. Also look up my man John Sanson.
John Sanson?
Yeah, John Sanson. He's a photographer. He's active in the LVAD community, and me, him, Cruz, and LVAD Dad, we're gonna take over the world in global domination.
I love that. Let's do it. I would love to see that.
Yeah. So, what else is on your mind?
Oh man, I don't know. I was trying to think of questions, but once I get to this point, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to ask. But you said 6 years and you were born with it. Are there any like charities that you work with, or do you do anything for American Heart Association?
That's usually my goal. Either that or my wife passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
either that or the pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
I would do work or volunteer for. That's usually my go-to charity if anybody asks or you want to donate on my behalf. But it's always been that way since I was a kid. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I mean, I think this is my best way of giving back to the community.
For sure.
Yeah.
How about the sound? Do you have the HeartMate 3?
I have the 2.
You have the 2? Can you hear it really
yes.
loud?
Yes, I can. And
how do you get used to that?
It took a while. That was the one thing that I tell people, if I was a lesser man, it would have drove me crazy. Because even right now, I have a little in the back of my head. And the funny thing is, since I've been doing this microphone picks it up.
Really?
Yes. Every episode, I have to go back and in post do noise cancellation because I can hear it. And I think it's even more pronounced for me because I'm listening to it. But if you have headphones on and I do like this, you'll hear the hum of my LVAD.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I took a stethoscope from my hospital room. It was like a cheapo one because I wanted people to put it on and listen, because, they've never heard anything like that before. So I'm like, listen to yourself and then listen to me and see how different it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when I go to a doctor, like a non-cardiac doctor, and a nurse comes in and is like, I'm going to take your blood pressure. Oh, yeah, sure you are.
No, you're not. Sorry.
Right. No, I can get it. I'm a professional. Okay.
No, you got a Doppler?
All right, you got some money? Let's put some money on it.
Can you find it? I know when I was in the hospital, it took some nurses 20 minutes to find it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
It took them a long time because there was just nothing. It was very frustrating. So.
Yeah, I like that. And I don't know, maybe it's the whole I'm a sci-fi nerd, so I'm a cyborg.
Exactly.
I can't complain about that. We don't have flying cars, but we do have cyborgs.
Yeah. You're like, if there was ever an apocalypse, I got you.
Right. And what's one of the neat things, like if you get in a really bad car accident, a lot of times, not saying but we want this to happen to anybody, but a lot of times your LVAD keeps your heart going. I've talked to a couple people that were in either bad accidents or had things happen to them where like it was hitting the head or whatever that a normal person would have died from, but their LVAD kept pumping. So that keeps your heart going and going. So I like to think that I got a little built-in invincibility in me too. So,
yeah. Wow, that's crazy because I recently got like a sleeve for my seatbelt. I can't think of words. And it says like no chest compressions,
Mm-hmm.
no blood pressure, no pulse, and I was wondering like, okay, well, if you get in a car accident and you bleed out or you're bleeding because your blood is so thin,
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that
That's
I
a
was
possibility. Yeah.
mm, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely scary to think about, just all the things, or your VAD gets ripped out,
Mm-hmm.
that's
That's
another
one of
thing.
my main fears.
Mhm.
Like when I first got out, I was like, what if somebody thinks like it's a bag with something valuable in it and they try to
Right.
snatch it and run?
Hmm.
That was like my own. It's a weird fear, but
Yeah,
you
no, it's
think of
totally
these
valid.
when you're sitting there laying there, you got time to think about weird scenarios like that. So,
For sure. Yeah, that's a totally valid fear because there are people that take bags,
right.
unfortunately, and they don't understand that there's a cord there. So you're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna come with you.
Right. So have you explored getting a different bag yet? I think
I
it's
was
a lot easier for women because you guys rock bags anyway.
right. I was trying to see like, do I have any purses that I could use, like crossbodies or anything, but I haven't like actively looked. I was looking, I got an email yesterday about like Supreme having a sale. And then I was asking my sister's boyfriend, because he's very into Supreme, like if a bag would work, because he has something for that he carries around. And he said that it should work for my batteries, but I don't know if people understand how big they
It's
are.
it's funny you said that because my two favorite non-traditional, like this is the traditional LVAD bag, but
Mhm.
my two favorite non-traditional ones are Supreme bags, and it's
Okay.
not the
They're-
crossbody, it's the waist bag.
Okay.
Because the waist bag, well, the one I've now found out how Supreme works, and they have certain seasons where they put certain
Mhm.
things out, and it just so happened the season that I got is big, is like that big, but it has two types of straps where it could be, like it can go around your waist like a fanny
Right.
pack, but then it has the sling type of strap, and it
Okay.
has the clipped straps like this. So I
Nice.
replaced the regular sling, the Supreme clip that goes across it, and put one of these clips on it because it's
Right.
longer. And I love it. There's enough room in there. I could put my controller, my batteries, my wallet, and my keys.
Wow. Okay. So I'll have to look into that. It's very expensive though.
Yes. Well, compared to like, a regular old like fanny pack, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I contemplated a fanny pack. I'm like, can I pull that off? Or is that going to look weird? Because, it's like holding an umbrella gives you anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know, is it going to close when I get to where I need to be? I'm, like I said, a very anxious person. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to look with a fanny pack.
Just the fanny packs, you just gotta make sure they're big enough.
Right.
And one of the things, and the reason I went with the Supreme bag, it was important that I have the zipper that zips both ways.
Right.
Because some bags it doesn't zip the right way, so it won't close it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, if it zips both ways, you can put your cord in between the two zippers
Right.
without it pinching or anything.
Yeah. It's a good idea. Yeah, I have to look into it. I get overwhelmed when I have to look at stuff like that. So when I'm in the right headspace, then I'm like, okay, it's time to go shopping.
Well, I'm about to go look at the Supreme site since you told me there was a sale.
I don't know if the sale is still going on. There was one yesterday and they had bags that were like $20. So I'm like, maybe I should have just gotten one, but
It's
I
good
didn't.
quality. I will give it that. It's good
Okay.
quality. It's waterproof. It's nice and rugged. It would, like, I've had it for over a year now. There's no fraying or anything like that. So
Right.
I will say that.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know. Especially because water is not good to have when you're walking too.
That's a whole nother. That water is the kryptonite.
Mhm. So then, okay, now that we're talking about rain or snow, I don't know if it snows where you live, not here, God bless, but how do you combat the rain?
Big coat.
Yeah.
I put it in the bag, put the coat over, and just keep it moving.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't had really much of a problem. I'm in Virginia and I'm near like the Virginia Beach area. So my
Okay.
biggest problem is not being able to go to the beach like I want to.
Right.
I'm scared of going out on a pier and like when the wood planks fall and
Yeah.
I haven't been on any boats since. Excuse me, I
Mhm.
haven't been on any boats. But For the most part, yeah. As long as I have it in my bag, and I'll put a coat on over top. Sometimes I'll wear in the bag under the coat. Sometimes I'll wear it over. You know,
Right.
if it's raining really bad, I'll put the coat over.
Okay.
But besides that, yeah, I haven't had any problems.
Yeah. I had a dream. Funny you say the pier. The first night I came home from the hospital, I had a dream that I was walking by a lighthouse, and the concrete around the lighthouse was a really thin walkway, and for whatever reason I was on it. I don't know why, but I ended up falling into the ocean. And it was weird because I live like 2 hours away from water, and I don't really ever go to the beach because, I mean, busy life and whatnot. But it was the weirdest thing. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, maybe it's because I'm super close to the edge of the bed and I felt like I was going to fall, because I'm so used to sleeping with the railings
Right.
in the hospital beds, right? And so maybe in my mind, my anxiety was like, okay, my controller might fall, or I might fall because there's no railings anymore. There's no safety net. So I definitely struggled with that getting out of the hospital, because you have all those nurses and doctors and surgeons there, but then you come home and, I mean, I love my boyfriend, but he's not a doctor, you know, so God forbid. And it was a lot.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say you had that fear about being on the pier, because, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, so I try to stay as far as where every once in a while I might walk down just enough to get my feet wet, then I'm gone.
Yeah, you're like, the tide will not take me today.
Right. All right, so this is the part of the episode where we come and say, what if someone came to you and said, Nicole, I just found out I need an LVAD. What is your advice?
Get it. 100%. Do not question it. Don't just get it. Get the education. You know, life is too short to not prolong it longer. You know, why would you be given the opportunity to potentially live longer and not take it? You know, because it's, once you're adjusted to it, it's not as bad as it seems when you're in the hospital. It's not as scary.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my conversation with Nicole Clement. Sean, your host of LVAD Talk. And we just started the new LVAD Talk Facebook page. Coming soon would be the LVAD Talk website, so be looking out for that. You can find us on all major places where you can get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Just search for LVAD Talk. Nicole, I want to thank you so much for giving us your story and your time today. It was awesome talking to somebody that is new with it, because you have a different outlook that sometimes us old heads, you know, we get used to things. So I appreciate that, because there's somebody out there that's listening. It's like, yeah, I know, that's how I feel. So I really appreciate it.
Well,
Anytime.
yeah, it's awesome to talk to you and get to know you more.
I'm available.
We'll stay tight.
When I finally get rid of this thing, I'm coming to California. You're going to be on the stop.
Sounds good. I love that.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sean. This is Nicole. This is LVAD Talk, and we are out.